Welcome back to this tutorial. In this video, we are going to start building our environment. First, let's go up here and duplicate our green and orange look and drag it above our layers here. You can do this by selecting the group, holding down Alt or the Option key for Mac, and dragging it down. Change the opacity to 30%. That looks pretty good. Now select the Blazor group and copy merge all layers by hitting Control, Alt, Shift and E, or Command, Option, Shift and E for Mac. Now let's go to our path and select it. Grab the pen tool and right-click. Go to Make Selection and make sure the feather radius is set to 0.5. Click OK. Go down here and create a mask and name it Blazor. Now we're ready to start building our background. Go to your file location and bring in this photo. We are going to stretch this pretty big, so zoom far out. Drag it behind the Blazor layer and start increasing the size. That looks pretty good. Now let's flip it horizontally. Move it over just a little so we don't see that pole. All right, now let's zoom back in here and move it to where we want it. Somewhere around here looks good. We just want it above the back tire a little bit. Perfect. Now let's create a layer mask and invert it. Now let's start painting some of the ground. We just want this hill. We have a different photo of the city, so we don't need that part. We want some of the ground back here. We are using this layer to help blend in the background once we put it in. I don't like how this area looks, so let's remove some of it. That looks pretty good for now. Go to your file location and drag in the city photo. Let's move it behind the layer we were just working on. We need to touch up some of the edges and remove the city in this image. All right, select the photo of the city and move it over here. Increase the size some. I want the city more towards the right of the Blazor. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And move it to the right some more. Around here looks good. Now create a mask and invert it. Go over here and start painting in the city. Make sure you don't go below the ground here. Go over everything, making sure it's all painted in. That looks pretty good. Let's adjust the city a little bit. Slightly rotate the image. That looks better. Now let's blend it together a little better. Just start removing some of the city from the other picture. Drop down the brush opacity and start going over the edges, blending it a little more. I don't like how the grass looks in the back, so let's go ahead and remove that. That looks better. All right, now go up to Filter and click on Gaussian Blur. Set the radius to 4.0 and click OK. Select the other photo and do the same. I'm not really a fan of how the ground is looking, so let's select the blazer layer and duplicate it. Remove the mask and move it down here. Change the opacity so we can see the background. Move it up some. Bring the opacity back up and create a mask. Now we're going to use the dirt from our photo and paint over the ground. Don't worry about the repeating texture on the ground. We will fix this later. This looks good for now. I forgot to convert it to a smart layer before creating the mask, so let's fix that real quick. To copy the layer mask, press and hold Alt or Option for Mac, then click and drag the mask to the other layer. Duplicate the layer and delete the mask. Now drag the image over here and turn down the opacity so we can see the background. Rotate it a little bit and let's move it into position. I'm just trying to line it up with the hill. This looks good. Now, let's use the clone stamp and remove the tire from this area. Take my sample from here and start painting away the tire. All right, now convert it back to a smart object. Create a layer mask and invert it. Start painting in the ground over the areas we don't like. I like the bush here, so let's leave it in. Now select the image and let's blur it like the other photos. I don't like how the ground looks underneath the blazer, so let's select the layer and paint the ground back in. That looks good. All right, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.